My name's David, and if you'd asked me 5 years ago what my future looked like, I would have pointed to a house in the suburbs, two kids playing in the backyard, and my wife, Jen, flipping pancakes in the kitchen while singing off-key to a 90s playlist. That was the dream I'd built in my head, the one I worked for, sacrificed for, and believed in. The reality turned out a bit messy. I'll never forget the night it all fell apart. We were 2 glasses into a bottle of red wine. Nothing fancy, just a grocery store Cabernet I'd picked up on the way home from a 14-hour workday. I'd just landed a big client for my startup. My tech consulting firm had finally started turning a real profit, and I thought, let's celebrate. I even brought home her favorite Thai food. She seemed distracted the whole dinner. I chalked it up to work stress. Jen was always a little high-strung, always had a million things on her mind. But there was something else that night. A flicker behind her eyes. Something distant. Cold, almost. And then, with half a pad CEW still on her plate, she looked up and said, "Can I be honest with you?" Now, when someone starts a sentence like that, it's never followed by anything good. But I nodded. Said sure. Because what else do you do? I'm not happy, she said. And I haven't been. Not for a long time. I sat back. The words didn't shock me, not exactly. We'd been off for a while. But hearing them out loud was still like getting the wind knocked out of you. Okay, I said carefully. Is this about us? Or just in general? She didn't answer at first. Just swirled her wine, eyes fixed on the glass like she could climb inside it and disappear. Then she looked up and said, "I've been seeing someone. It's funny the way your body reacts before your mind catches up." My ears started ringing. My palms got cold. I remember thinking, did I hear that right? I didn't say anything. I couldn't. My brain was trying to reboot. She kept talking. Said it just happened, that she didn't plan on it, that she didn't mean to fall for him. He was someone from work. Of course he was. She said he made her feel seen, whatever that means. Then she hit me with the line that still replays in my head when I can't sleep. "You're a good man, David, but you're not the man I want." That was it. Not a fight. Not a tearful confession. Just a calm, clean slice through the heart. I stood up, walked into the bedroom, and packed a bag. She didn't try to stop me. Didn't even follow me. She just sat there with her wine and her secrets and that blank expression. I moved into a cheap extended stay hotel off the freeway. One of those places where the carpet smells like old cigarettes and the lobby coffee tastes like regret. It was humiliating, but it gave me space. At first, I was angry. I'd built a whole life around this woman. Gave her everything I had. Time, energy, money, devotion. And she handed it back like a receipt for something she wanted to return. But after the anger came the quiet. The long, echoing silence of being alone with yourself. And in that silence, I started to see things differently. The truth was, Jen had been gone for a long time. Her body was there, but her heart had checked out months, maybe years, before she ever said the words out loud. And me? I'd been so buried in work, in trying to build our future, that I didn't notice the foundation crumbling beneath us. So I did what I knew best. I poured myself into work. I turned my pain into fuel. My consulting firm, back then it was just me and 2 part-time contractors, became my obsession. I worked 18-hour days, picked up every contract I could find, started saying yes to things I had no business saying yes to, just to see if I could figure them out. And I did. Turns out, heartbreak is a hell of a motivator. Within a year, I went from renting a desk in a shared workspace to leasing an entire floor. Hired full-time staff. Rebranded the company. We specialized in optimizing legacy systems for mid-sized financial institutions. Boring work to most, but incredibly lucrative. I was up at 5, at the office by 6, and rarely home before 10. I ran off caffeine and spite. And strangely, I loved it. By year 2 post-divorce, I'd cleared 7 figures in revenue. Bought myself a condo downtown. Nothing crazy, just something with floor-to-ceiling windows and no shared walls. Got a decent car, started traveling a bit for conferences. But more than that, I started feeling good. Like I could breathe again. Like I wasn't apologizing for who I was anymore. Funny thing is, I never set out to win the breakup. That wasn't the goal. I just wanted to survive it. But then something started happening. Mutual friends, people I hadn't talked to in months, started reaching out. "Hey man, Jen's been asking about you. She saw your company in the paper, said she didn't know you were doing that well. She, mentioned you still looked good." At first, I ignored it, chalked it up to small talk. But then I bumped into her one day, pure accident. We were both grabbing coffee in the same little bookstore cafe we used to love. She looked fine. A little older, maybe. A little more tired. But she smiled when she saw me. That same crooked smile I used to live for. We chatted for a bit. She asked how things were. I told her the truth. Said work was good. Life was good. I didn't mention the condo or the revenue or the fact that I was finally sleeping through the night again. I didn't need to. She already knew. And the way her face fell, just a fraction, just a flicker, told me everything I needed to know. That night, I walked home under the city lights, and for the first time in years, I felt light. Free. Like I wasn't carrying someone else's disappointment anymore. I used to think her betrayal broke me. But it didn't. It stripped me down, showed me what I was made of. And when I started rebuilding, I didn't do it for her. I did it for me. So there I was, standing under the city lights, coffee in hand, a familiar ghost fading into the distance behind me. And all I could think was, I made it. Not just through the heartbreak, through the entire unraveling of the life I thought I wanted. You don't realize how much you were surviving until you finally start living. And that's what those next few years were about. Not revenge, not proving a point. Just building a life that actually made sense without the weight of someone else's indifference. I got into shape, not because I needed to, but because I wanted to feel good in my own skin. I started running, just a few blocks at first, then a mile, then 5. I signed up for one of those charity 10 Burmese chots and finished middle of the pack. Didn't matter. I crossed the line grinning like an idiot. Weekends became something I looked forward to again. I'd bike around the lake, hit up the farmer's market, learn how to cook something new. Once, I even tried pottery. Terrible idea. Turns out, wet clay and my patience don't mix. But the real shift came with my business. Year 3 post-divorce, I brought on a COO so I could step back and start thinking bigger. I wanted to invest in something more personal, something that lit me up again. So I took a chance and started a side venture focused on helping other small business owners automate their back-end systems. We built software packages tailored to solo entrepreneurs, guys like me back when I was just a laptop and a bad haircut, trying to make something stick. It took off, faster than I thought it would. Maybe because I wasn't chasing money anymore, I was chasing meaning. And you'd be surprised how much those two overlap when you stop trying so hard to impress people who never saw you to begin with. And yeah, the money followed. I'm not going to pretend like I didn't notice when the bank account crossed 7 figures. I noticed. But the strange part? It didn't change much. I still wore the same jeans, drove the same modest car, ordered the same basic drip coffee. But what had changed was me. Not my ego, my clarity. I didn't need anything from anyone anymore. Especially not her. But life's got a wicked sense of humor. Because just when you finally close the book, someone shows up with a bookmark, flipping back to the page they left. It was a random Wednesday. I was at the co-working space I liked to visit once a week, pretending I still needed a change of scenery. My phone buzzed, unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. A minute later, a text popped up. Hey, I know this is weird. Can we talk? Jen. I stared at it for a long time. Not because I didn't know what to say, but because I realized I felt nothing. No anger, no curiosity. Just quiet detachment. Still, I agreed to meet. Not for closure. I already had that. But maybe, in some strange way, to give her a final answer to a question she never asked the right way the first time. We met at a park near the old apartment. She looked different. Softer, maybe. Sadder. We sat on a bench like two people waiting for different buses. She started talking first. Told me she regretted everything. Not just the affair, but the way she dismissed our life. She said she thought she wanted freedom, excitement, something unpredictable. But now, she said, eyes glancing off to the duck pond, I realized I just wanted something I could blame when I felt empty inside. I didn't say anything. Just let her speak. She said the guy she left me for didn't last. Neither did the one after. Or the one after that. Apparently, when the smoke cleared, all that was left was a bunch of moments that looked good on Instagram and felt hollow in real life. She said she saw my company in a business magazine. That it was strange seeing my name next to words like visionary and leader. Strange because she never thought of me that way before. I thought you were too safe, she said. But maybe you were just steady. She looked at me then, really looked. And she asked, do you think there's any chance for us? I took a breath. Not because I needed to think, but because I wanted to be kind. I don't think you're a bad person, I said. I think you made choices that made sense to you at the time. But you didn't just walk away from me, Jen. You walked away from who we were. And I had to rebuild that man from the ground up. She nodded slowly, blinking hard. I'm not angry anymore, I said. I'm not bitter. But I'm not yours, either. And I never will be again. We sat there a moment longer. Then she stood, smoothed out her coat, and said goodbye. That was the last time I saw her. These days, I still think about that life sometimes. Not with longing, with gratitude. Because her betrayal gave me something I never would have chosen for myself, a second chance at my own life. I'm rich now, yeah, but not just in the bank. I'm rich in peace. In mornings where I wake up without tension in my chest. In dinners where the silence is comfortable, not cold. In knowing that the love I give myself doesn't need to be earned through someone else's approval. And I'm happy, truly, because for the first time in my life, I'm not building a dream for someone else. I'm living mine.